Okay, so when it comes down to women's energy and emotions that they put into you when they're emotional, of course, when they're, let's say, even like worked up about things, or of course, just simply feel away, what this is telling you is that at this point, she's been thinking hard about you. And I mean hard because when you think about energy and emotion, you can think of like somebody getting drained out. So when people have been like grieving or you go through a heartbreak, you're probably crying all day. You're probably so much in your head, like, oh, why is this happening? And you're probably fighting that whole like, oh, don't say nothing, don't reach out. And of course, I know how difficult that can be. Obviously, as you practice, as you get better, as time goes on, eventually it could get better. And I mean like eventually, as in like it might not seem like it's getting better and it might take such a long period of time. Now, to my point with how energy and emotions work, they work as like, let's say, if you're now dealing with this woman or you're going through a period of time with this woman where you feel like, okay, this energy and emotion that I am putting in is making me feel this way with her, then you have to obviously do differently. Because let's say if she starts the process of thinking of you, investing more emotion, energy, time, effort into you, and then you come in and save the day, right? Same way if somebody goes through a breakup and they get back with their person, that kind of stops the feelings a little bit, or it's not as intense of grieving because you're not necessarily grieving anymore. You're in a sense like restoring what you have with that person. So I say that to say this is what is particularly going to happen if you come in, which I'll describe more in a second of what you should not be doing. But I want to say this point because I want you to view it as like, okay, when this woman is now experiencing you and she puts in all this thinking thoughts and it's building up, then this is where she leads into wanting you so much. In a sense, is like gravitating herself towards you, and it's intentional and sometimes not intentional. In the sense of like, let's say when a woman knows she lost someone good or knows that, dang, I really can't replace them. Sometimes it takes her to start dating. Sometimes it takes a lot of things, right? So if it doesn't, or if it does, once she realizes this, what then happens is now the unbearable things that she doesn't want to go through are getting to the best of her. In other words, she doesn't necessarily want to be thinking and missing you all the time, but because she won't reach out to you, at least not right away, and we know women can be stubborn and have indirect ways of going about things, or become subliminal, or just do things in a way where it's not like straightforward, right? So she's doing this is where it now catches up to her. But what I always tell fellas is that it lingers in your mind. It can keep going on. I want to also put emphasis on, well, before I do so, don't forget, if you want to get better insight on your situation, what she's feeling, the emotions that she's going through, you definitely can through a consultation. Click the link down below. Get started on an actual process that's going to help you get the results that you want. Know how to go about it, strategies and strategic ways to have that will really show you, okay, this is really what you needed to do. Sometimes when I talk to fellas, it could be simple, it could be complicated, but it could be in the sense of them knowing, okay, this is what makes sense to do, and then the follow-up will be those results that come in, and that's really what it took. But it's all up to you, and I want y'all to, of course, be serious about your process with her and getting those results. So, if you're serious this time around, it's worth it. And then don't forget, if you want other insights, especially a lot of things that I only have put in my books, like when I talk about the exposed truth of women, and even other things such as my guide and journal that's currently on sale. You save big, y'all. It's on sale, and I'm loving that you guys are buying because it's showing that, for one, you guys been waiting for it, and I'm also just happy and appreciative that you guys are actually liking the journal, and a lot of y'all are really telling me like it's helped y'all so much. So I love that for y'all, and I'm just again thankful for you guys buying. And it's still gonna remain on sale, maybe until like a little bit after the holidays. I'm not exactly sure, but don't miss out because it's not going to be forever. Okay, now back to what I was saying, because we're now getting to kind of the wrapping up. I was going to tell you a little bit more about how a woman, or what you should not do, right? And then the other aspect of like what a woman is now feeling. You have to now realize that these emotions do get to her, right? But if you don't want to pause that process, go longer without saying anything. Go longer with the acceptance of, if it's like this, if it looks like this with her, that's okay. I don't have to be afraid. I don't have to be worried, because when you're doing that, you're sending off scarcity. You're sending off lack. You're not sending off abundance. I can have you. I can have multiple women. In other words, why would she come to you easily, or you can have multiple other women, when in all reality, you're not giving that out. You're giving desperation. And I'm saying desperation to her, or desperation that you just cannot get a woman. This is why oftentimes too, a woman might start feeling like, oh, he can't get better than me, or oh, like I'm the best thing he'll ever have. Like women even are so blunt these days where like sometimes when I talk to y'all, I'll be like, wow, she said that to y'all. And sometimes it'll take a little bit after until you guys realize like, yeah, she said that to me and that was a problem. That wasn't okay. But she said that to me. Right? So I just want to get to the summing up this video because we're approaching the end by telling you what you can do. And I kind of explained it a little bit as I was speaking, but what you can do is make sure that as you're dealing with this woman, just be very, very much attentive to go ahead and not budge in, not feel like I need to save the day type of thing. That is not what you're trying to do at all. You're not there to save the day. You're not there to convince her of anything. You want it to be that you're stoic, you're stern, you're sure of the decisions you're making. Again, if you're ever operating off of lack or you're operating off of not knowing, that's going to be signaled out to her. Now, this is just in the aspect of like, yeah, when we talk about law of attraction and manifestation, it's the same rules that apply to relationships. I tell a lot of people this, like, don't think that your rules that you are going to put on to her needs to be different. If you're going to have strict rules on how somebody should treat you that is not your girl, you should, right? And then if your girl is trying you and now you have to place these strict rules, or from the jump she had to understand that, hey, these are boundaries, but non-negotiables, don't mess with those, don't cross those. You're crossing the line when you're doing that. When you're now doing that and you're setting these things in place, this is, in other words, you're getting not necessarily an upper hand, but you're definitely getting her to understand that there's an aspect of her that's lacking. In other words, as well, when I say there's an aspect of her lacking, what you're doing is, again, not filling in the blanks, so she has to do it herself. This will look like, in a sense, like, as they say, soul searching, but it's also her now in scarcity and her and now in lack. Okay, to summarize this all up, what you have to understand is that woman can go into scarcity and fearfulness, right? And I always put emphasis on fearfulness that's technically good in this case, right? Not afraid of not being around you because you're wild or you're not safe or you're not trustworthy, etc. But if it's in the sense of like losing you for good, if it's in the sense that can't be without you, that sorts of stuff, this is where scarcity and fearfulness really kicks in. Now, this is a crucial fact and a crucial matter because if this now happens, what does this mean? This means that you have to stop trying to make it be anything else. Let her actually get those feelings feeling, let those emotions feel, and let those emotions really go through her body. So she's just like, oh, no, I can't do this with him. No, this is not what I like. Okay, this is not acceptable. This is not comfortable. It's all good stuff for you at the end. Don't try to save the day, in other words. I love y'all. Take care of yourselves. Love yourself. And don't expect her to be doing that. And if she does, still do it for yourself more than she does for you. And I'll talk to y'all very much soon. Bye, y'all.